I recently let one of my male friends stay with me it was supposed to be for 2 weeks. We didn't make it the full 2 weeks. Let me tell you what happened on the fourth day. I recently let one of my male friends stay with me it was supposed to be for 2 weeks. We didn't make it the full 2 weeks. Let me tell you what happened on the fourth day.
Okay.
So to give a little bit of background, I've known this guy for about 2.5 years. He was one of the first male friends I made when I moved to Texas. I will say when we started, it was kind of like on a romantic, not kind of, we were like romantically seeing each other for a little bit, but that quickly fell off. He was like a lot older, so I was just like, we both were like, we don't see each other having a future, so let's just be friends. We both enjoyed each other's company, so we were like, okay, we can be friends. So over the last 2 years, we've fallen off a few times. We'll get into petty arguments, but I will say for the most part, it's him. Like his communication style is terrible. Like he just will blow up. He'll just like disappear. He'll block me and then like unblock me and then I'll block him and unblock him, blah, blah, blah. So about a year ago, he started talking about moving to South Africa. And I'm like, what are you moving to South Africa for?
Yeah, why?
And he just was like, it's cheaper there. He has been working from home for years. So he was like, I can work remotely. I'm not even going to tell my job that I'm leaving the country. Just going to go for a year and a half or so, save some money, etc., etc. So one day we were hanging out and he randomly brought up that he is like officially moving. He already booked his plane ticket and he already has like his apartment ready to go in South Africa. But his lease ended like early in the month and his flight wasn't until 2 weeks later, sometime like on the 14th or 15th of the month. So he was like, can I stay with you for these 2 weeks? I'll give you like half the rent for that month. You don't have to worry about me. Like I'll be like a fly on the wall basically. And I was like, you know what? I'm at work all day anyway. And like, he is my friend. He's been there for me plenty of times, like with other things. So I was like, okay, that's fine with me. 2 weeks. By the third day, we were already arguing like an old married couple. Mind you, we were not on a romantic level at all while he was with me. The third day I came home from work, he was sitting on the couch where I had left him in the morning. So I come home from work and I'm kind of like getting myself together, putting my shoes away, blah, 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 just unwinding from the day. And he randomly's like, so you're not going to cook? Like, you're not going to make anything? No, I'm not making anything. My immediate answer was, I already ate before I came. Which I hadn't, but I wanted to nip that right there in the butt, that do not expect me to be cooking for you. Like, I said I would house you, but I'm not going to be cooking or cleaning up after you. Like, you're a grown man. I expect you to, like, find food for yourself. Like, if it was out of the goodness of my heart, like, I don't have a problem doing that. But for him to, like, have the audacity to be like, so you're not cooking anything? I was literally in shock. So after that day, that was like the third day. The fourth day, he said something else about like making food or cooking something. I think I had ordered pizza and he was just like throwing in like his order, like what he wanted or whatever. And I was like, okay, I guess I can get that kind of pizza. By the fifth day, I was so sick and tired of him. Like I wanted him out so bad. I felt like I couldn't even be on the phone. I couldn't FaceTime my friends. Like I couldn't just like be in the comfort of my own home because he was there. Even though he wasn't really giving me a hard time, I just like I started to feel uncomfortable super quickly with having him there. So I'm like ranting to one of my friends and telling her the situation. And she's like, girl, you should ask him when his flight is, because when is his flight? And I was like, you know what? That's true. Like, I never really asked him when the flight was, if he needed a ride to the airport, like none of the details. So I'm at work still. It was like 10 a.m. I still remember it. And I texted him, hey, by the way, like, when is your flight and do you need a ride to the airport? He was like, oh, I meant to tell you that there were some issues with the apartment and I actually pushed my flight to the end of the month. Is that cool with you? Basically saying he wanted to stay for an additional 2 weeks. We were only 5 days in at this point and I was already ready to rip his head off. So I was like, no, you can't stay till the end of the month. So he immediately texts back. He's like, you know what? Don't ever worry about me again. I'll be gone before you get home from work. So I was completely fine with that, but I was like, I still want to talk about it. So I texted him back and I was like, yeah, I don't know if I'm cool with the end of the month. I wish you would have told me. When were you going to tell me that you changed your flight and that you needed to stay longer? Like you were just assuming that I was going to be okay with it.
Yeah.
And He wanted to have no conversation. He was like, I'll never try to rely on a woman ever again. Like, basically calling me heartless and all this stuff. But yeah, when I got home from work that day, all of his stuff was gone. He had his whole, like, he had his monitor set up. That was gone. His suitcase gone. Shoes, everything was, like, packed up and just gone. And we haven't talked to this day. But that was just a really interesting. I don't know why he had to end it so, like, abruptly. Like, I even texted him. I said, hey, I have no hard feelings. Like, we can still be friends.
Why?
I don't know why you felt like you needed to just, like, pick up and leave like that. But I got my...
No, like, I don't understand women sometimes. Like, why? Why would you do that to yourself? Why would you hurt yourself like that? Do you want this person to come in your life so that they can hurt you again? You want this person who clearly does not care about you, cares about what you can give him, to come back in your life. Obviously, he did not want to talk and he was using you for as long as he wanted. Having an ex-lover as a friend is a red flag in itself. It doesn't work. It's just about him having accessibility to you. It's a problem. You can't have an ex-lover having access to you. He will drain you. And he will use you for as long as it's beneficial to him, as long as it's suitable for him. And then he will weaponize his victimhood. It doesn't like women. He doesn't like women. This is never rely on a woman. He's victimizing himself, trying to guilt trip you into allowing him into staying. And now here you are at the end. You're feeling sad because you did not like how it ended. Obviously, he does not want to talk. He just does not like you not allowing him do what he wants. He wants you to take care of him because you're a woman. He doesn't respect you. He holds this misogynistic thinking that will allow you to work under him because you're a woman. You should cook for him because a man is in the house. And he should sit on that couch and wait for his flight to my country. That he's going to come into my country and not even work a dime. Not work a dime. And this is why I have a problem with men. And people say, oh, well, you hate men. What wouldn't I hate with such behavior? Do you want me to love this kind of behavior? Is this what you want me to obsess over? You want me to obsess over this? What kind of nonsense is this? There's no way I can obsess over this. No way. No sane person would do that. You know, as a man, you would never tolerate such a woman because you have high standards for yourself. So I shouldn't. I should allow you walk over me. Your peace of mind means driving me insane. You know, I'm reaching a point in my life where I don't understand such women, and she looks really sad that he left like that. You might as well just, I don't understand women sometimes, you know, the constant need of males in our lives. I don't understand it. Even I myself, when I was dating and when I was dating young, the constant need, and sometimes wasn't even necessarily really my choice to even date young. Things happened and I ended up dating young. But really, the constant need, if you've worked yourself as much as I worked myself, you be cautious with men. You wouldn't just allow any man in your life. And this is it. Like, I keep to myself so much so it will feel like I don't like people. I feel like the man that's gonna enter my life needs to work, really work, because the type of men that exist among us, pathetic.
Recently let one of my male friends stay with me it was supposed to be for 2 weeks. We didn't make it the full 2 weeks. Let me tell you what happened on the 4th day.
That was the first mistake. Men are not your friends. Let me use this own woman's words to prove men are never your friends.
A little bit of background. I've known this guy for about 2.5 years. He was one of the first male friends I made when I moved to Texas. I will say when we started, it was kind of like on a romantic, we were like romantically seeing each other for a little bit, but that quickly fell off. He was like a lot older, so I was just like, we both were like, we don't see each other having a future, so let's just be friends. We both enjoyed each other's company, so we were like, okay, we can be friends.
Oh, my sweet summer child. What actually happened there was he saw you as a young woman he could prey upon. For whatever reason, you partially denied access, but you allowed him to keep hanging around. And everything she says after that, oh my God, well, he has such a volatile temper and he'll block me and unblock me. This is before he even came into her house. If a man ever blocks you, you should never speak to him again. But this is what I'm saying. He was never your friend to start with. He was always sniffing around for what you could do for him. Maybe it's possible to be friends with a man who you were never with romantically. I actually don't really believe in that either. But for positive, sure. If you're dating a guy and it doesn't work out, let him go his way and you go yours, because they will always see you in the role of woman. That is, they will always be trying to get some gendered labor out of you. Let me prove it.
He randomly's like, so you're not going to cook? Like, you're not going to make anything?
Yes, this man deadass asked her, was she going to cook for him, who was supposed to be an unobtrusive house guest just living on her largesse. So that night she said, just to avoid expectations and conflict, I said, no, I ate out. And then the next night or 2 nights later, or whatever, he asked again. This is why you cannot be friends with men. Automatically, men who have women as so-called friends, I will die on this hill. They're looking for labor, because you notice men have a bunch of men they run with. Rarely do I see them asking their male friends for any big favors. So just in case you didn't see this video at all, this guy was moving to South Africa and he asked her, could he, stay on her couch for 2 weeks or her bedroom, whatever, while he was waiting for his plane. And then in the end, it turns out he moved his flight and he was going to stay almost another whole month without telling her, like a month altogether. Consequently, she ended up getting him out of there before the 2 weeks was even up. But then she's talking about how, oh my God, I messaged him after that. Like, I don't want to leave things like this. We can still be friends. No. And I give you grace, young lady. Your makeup is so pretty. But no. Ladies, you want to know how to have a good, successful life. You need to be mean to men. You need to be so mean. Offer them nothing. Pay them dust. Because that way, only men who actually care about you as a person, not as a convenience, will be the only ones who are left. You want to know if you have a genuine male friend? Because I guarantee you, 99.9999999% of you do not. Don't listen to him. Don't let him monologue at you. Don't cook. Don't, be his friend. Don't do all this emotional labor. Stop playing free therapist and free Airbnb and this and that. Yeah, I don't want to take away from this guy. He did pay her for his stay, but the labor he was expecting in return was freaking ridiculous. If you're dying for a male friend so bad because, oh man, I want to know their point of view or whatever. First of all, men aren't that interesting. But if you want a male friend, go talk to your dad. Go talk to your brothers. Go talk to your cousins. They might be your friends. Other males are not your friends. My dear twin, who is a man, we're fraternal. He has a house people are constantly staying in, men. My mom calls his house Grand Central Station because when he moved out of his city, like the city we grew up in, he moved to a real hub in the fast-paced area, and consequently all of his friends wanted to move there. It's a very expensive place, and they're like, hey, can I come bunk on your couch? Can I whatever? And that was the end of it. He lets them stay on his sofa or whatever, but he's like, they stay out all day, they come creeping in late at night so they don't bother me, and that's the end of it. They never asked him to cook, clean, do no laundry, whatever. Because that's how men treat their actual friends. Men are not your friends. They're parasites looking for host bodies, okay? That's what they see women as, because I have seen men who are fully competent, who can cook, clean, and do it all by themselves. They move in with a woman, or sometimes a woman who's not a romantic partner, who's just someone who's related to them or who's a friend to them. And they start acting like their hands are broke and they can't do any labor. And they have this woman performing overtime because they will put any woman who's in close proximity to them into a domestic role. Fuck that. I have been in my current place for, 2 years, over 2 years. And no man I'm not related to has ever crossed my threshold. Oh, I'm lying. One time, my research assistant came by to do some work. That's it. I do not allow men I am not related to into my house at all. And it really has nothing to do with the homosexuals. People don't realize men with money, men with education, men with background, men who are successful will still use you. As this woman said, this guy was employed. He wasn't some broke loser who was couch surfing. He's got a passport, he's got a lucrative career, he's got this, he's got that. But first of all, guys like this still live bummy. They have a bum mentality. Go back and watch her video, but she was talking about basically how he's a scammer. He's working remotely and he's not even telling his job. He's moving to South Africa and whatnot. And then his lease ended. Guys like that are always on a scam, and they're going to get you involved in their shady doings. But even beyond that, the main scam a lot of these guys are running is they're using you to save their resources by staying with you for 2 weeks. Yeah, he gave you a little bit of money, but I bet it wasn't market value. It would have cost him who knows what to stay in an Airbnb or a hotel for that length of time. And he thought he was going to lay up and play up and get, free meals, free this and free that, and probably some free punani too. She says there was nothing romantic between them, but I wouldn't put it past this guy to ask you for some vagina. Men are not your friends. They never have been and they never will be. At least not ones you are not related to. And even the ones who you share DNA with, vet them. They feel entitled to your labor, they feel entitled to your resources, and if you give them an inch, they will take a damn mile.